Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. I hope you're fine today. I am your teacher, Muhammad Yusuf Alangir. Here you can see in the first class of ours, the video interactive class, we read some of the very unusual and sensitive kind of topic. We talked about the topic when people would suffer by not getting something very much important in their life, which is food, nutrition, and they would suffer hunger. I tried to explain some of the inexplicable sufferings and scrutiny that a person may face in the time of hunger, when a person is incapable of providing himself and maybe sometimes their family members food. It's unimaginable when you starve day after day and cannot have the food in order to survive. We were supposed to have a good life. By we mean the children. We were supposed to have the basic needs, but unfortunately, as the topic says, 3/4 of the children in the world are deprived of these basic needs, their rights. And the others who are privileged enough, who are lucky enough, like you and me, we have what we need, and sometimes we have more of what we need. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to help the others. With what you have, what extra you have, you can always help out each other. The more you help, the more sawab you can gain. Anyway, the topic that we talked about in the last class, I hope you have understood, because hunger is associated to the passage we are going to try today. It's named, I Look After Myself. It's in the same book, New Expressway 2, so I didn't write down the name of the book. And it's from page 238 starting all the way to 240. If you open the book with me, children, you'll get to see the passage starting with the picture given of a boy of the age of around 14 approximate. He tells in a narrative way how he has come to a city, how he didn't have anybody to look up to. Nobody could help him out and he was all alone, and how he started to struggle in a big city, how he started to have his food and other necessary elements that he needed for survival. And he kept on working alone. He had one or two friends here and there. Time to time he kept on gaining something. Then maybe he lost something again. This is a journey of a boy in a big city all alone. How he tried to find shelter, food, and some work in order to survive. Good things have happened to him, as well as bad things. Fortunate and unfortunate incidents never lost his path. They always crossed each other's path in the life of this poor boy. The name of the boy is Muhammad Halif. It's a story related to the vicinity of India. So it's an Indian city that we get to learn. I'll just give you a brief summary of the passage of what has happened. We know that it's about a boy. We know that he's been struggling into a city named Muhammad Halif. He didn't get the privileges that we have got. School, education, food, shelter, the love of his parents, friends, relatives, leisure, sports, and other recreational activities. Everything was kind of lost from this unfortunate boy's life. Something more happened. He had to earn his living in a very early age from his childhood. He had to work as a shoe polisher. Then he met some friends who helped him find work. Even in the initial stage, he had to beg. He begged on the streets with one of his friends, a newly found friend. Then he raised a little up and started working as a shoe polisher. And then he also found out some facilities where people would keep the boys and girls who doesn't have any home. And they would sometimes even take very not too good care, you can say even torture in some cases. He had to run away from those facilities, and he found a way to earn some good money. and then make a way for himself. This is the life of Muhammad Hanif. Now, after reading the passage, you will be stuck in some of those places which is going to start as an obstacle for you. The hard words. I am going to help you out with the hard words today so that you can have full clarity by listening to my theme of the story, the background of the story. Here goes the words for you, boys. You will get the words in your soft copy, so I'm going to just explain the words to you. The first one that comes, bootlegging. Bootlegging. Any activities in order to earn money in a dishonest way can be called as bootlegging. Unfair, dishonest, uncouth way of earning money. Unlawful way of earning money, which is against the law. So you can say, an illegal trader of goods, especially of alcohol. Here comes alcohol and other elements which are completely haram in the religion of Islam, as well as in society. It's unlawful. But in the story you will find out one or two of those characters bootlegged. That means they were responsible for illegal trafficking of alcohol and some other beverages. Beverages means drinks. You'll find the same word in a different way, alcoholic beverage, which means the same. It's one kind of beverage, drink, but it's a bit intoxicating. There are drinks like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Sprite, which are not intoxicating, but there are intoxication which will force your mind to think otherwise, hallucinate, and think in a negative way. Intoxicating beverages or alcohols, completely haram. You will find a word which in figurative language we call slang. You might think the usual slang, the words that we speak in general conversation, but that's not slang. Those are curses and bad words. But in English language, one of the figurative speech is slang. Words which may be inappropriate in some cases, but usually used from mouth to mouth. People conversate by using these words, but they are not generally bad words. I'll tell you one kind of slang here given as an example in the story, which is cops. It's not a bad word, but it's a slang. It's an appropriate enigma used in the language of English in one community. For example, in the United States of America, most parts of the continent of North and South America, people call the police as cops. We don't do that here, but they do it there. It's an appropriately used word, very generally worldwide used word. And we know about this word, cops, one of the slangs used in figurative language in English. So now you know what cops means. Then we have biddies. First of all, I even thought it was B-I-D-I-E-S, the sentence, the spelling of the word might have confused you, but it's bidi. Bidi is one kind of, you can say, cigarette that people have sometimes in order to smoke. So it's one of the content of smoke, bidi. Then we have scarper. Scarper. Scarper, you can allot this word to a person who usually runs away or escapes from places. In this case, according to the context of the passage, you will see Muhammad Hanif was a scarper. Why? Because he had to run away from those rehabilitation centers. Rehabilitation centers are where almost law enforcement officers would keep teenagers, underage citizens in lockups. So they are almost like jails, but they're called centers. Why? They try to improve and develop the behavior and the thought process of children, underaged. So there are also juvenile crime, underage crime. Boys and girls might steal, they might bootleg, they might sell unlawful things, and in order to straighten their character, there are certain centers where boys and girls are kept, against their will of course, until they become better. So he would run away from Scarper. That is like escaping from those facilities. That would mean Scarper, to run away or to escape.